Welcome back to another live episode of the Relevant Recruiter Show. Today, I get to speak with a good friend of mine, former client of mine, Alex Dovganetskiy from Ally Search. I've been practicing saying that all morning. Alex, thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about Alex's journey as a recruiter and talking specifically about how he's been able to leverage the Relevant Recruiter program and helping him and his team change the way they're doing business development and become more efficient. But Alex, thank you for joining me today on the show.
It's my pleasure, Donnie. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Awesome. I know where you're at in the world, but why don't you share everybody else, a little bit of details. Where are you located? What's the family life like? What do you got going on with the personal life right now?
Sure. We're located in Harrisonburg, Virginia, about a couple hours away from DC. Came here back in 97. We immigrated to California in 92, lived in Sacramento for a while, then came to Virginia in 97, been living here ever since. Family's great. 21-year-old daughter, finishing up, she's a senior in college.
Nice.
Got son's first year freshman in high school. So wife's doing great. So doing pretty good.
Awesome. Cool. And just to give everyone a little bit more backstory, your wife does work with you, correct? Right?
Correct. Yep.
Right. All right, cool. We'll definitely dive into a couple of those questions and see how the husband and wife team are doing. Alex, give us your little story personally. I mean, how did you get started off into the recruiting industry?
Absolutely. Well, I've always wanted to have a business. My uncles, we were probably the only family that didn't own a business. My uncles, so growing up, living in Russia, California, they always had some kind of a business they were doing. So I was just watching them, and that's something I always wanted to do. Now, I didn't start my journey till I was about 37, which is 2017. Well, I was a focused factory manager working for a huge manufacturing plant. And I was interacting with a lot of staffing and recruiting agencies. And because of my position, I was mainly talking to the executives, the VPs, directors, and just kind of picking their brains about what the industry is about. What are they doing? Why are they in this business? So it really piqued my interest. So I guess I can say it's kind of by accident. It just happened. But I felt you just kind of have that feeling that, this is it. And, at age 37, you're like, it's now or never.
Right.
It could be wrong, but some people start their businesses in 40s. So in 50s, it doesn't matter. But for me, that was it. I really felt that it was time. So I actually started it in 2017, August 21st. And I did it on the side for about 2 years.
Okay.
So, I had an hour lunch, go out and eat real quick. Then I'll do my cold calls, reach out, get some traction. And then I would come home and work till about 9 p.m., go to bed, start all over again. So I did that for about 2 years before I actually started on my own. So
nice. So you never worked for another agency. You were never an internal recruiter. This is just something you saw as an opportunity and just went for it.
Great question. Yeah, because we did a little research and we saw that a lot of recruiting and staffing owners or founders, they were either on the sales side, right, and they went into recruiting, or they quit some kind of a recruiting agency and started on their own. So with us being in manufacturing supply chain, for our whole career, we saw an opportunity that we could do not something different. Everybody does the same way of getting candidates, but you just saw opportunity of having that language to our clients and able to speak to them at their level, because we understand what the HR, the operation managers, the plant managers, directors, what they're going through when they have open positions. So right. It felt like we had the advantage there and be able to, really speak their language and connect with them at the next level.
Yeah. I'm curious. I mean, I would imagine it was probably hard to come into an industry that, you had done the research on, but you'd never actually formally done the job, so to speak. What kind of stories did you have? Anything going on internally kind of telling you that you weren't going to be able to succeed? Like, how did you get over those types of things? Because I think that's kind of a normal part of being an entrepreneur.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm a man of faith. So I believe things happen for us, not to us. Right. I always start there. And, there's a lot of prayers went into starting a business.
Yeah.
It's not something I just decided and say, okay, I'm going to do it. And there's a lot of went into preparation. Also, my wife, I mean, she's been a great support. And without her, I wouldn't have been where I'm at now, not in just business, but in general.
Right.
I also had, I consulted a lot with Jessica Shuttleworth, as you know her, shout out
Yep.
to her.
Yep.
She's have phenomenal recruiter and a business owner now. And also Kelly Bloom. I work with both of those young ladies, and they really helped me understand recruiting. They really helped me kind of bone any questions I had. I would reach out to them, and they really explained to me the details of the rejections, the no's, the yeses, what to do when. So they really guided me in the right direction. So it was a lot of help.
Got it. Cool. As you kind of started out, outside of, just the time, obviously, when you're starting out and you're working your day job and then doing this in between, that was probably your biggest challenge. But outside of that, like, what were some of the biggest challenges you were facing, as a business owner, especially a first-time business owner?
Well, I mean, it's a business on paper, right? It's more like a high-paying job.
Right.
I believe until it gets to that point, right? I
Right.
believe
Right.
a business is where you kind of have a team of people working, and you don't have to get involved with the day-to-day operations. But to answer your question, I mean, it was just not understanding the business side. I believe I've wasted a lot of money on promotional stuff that I didn't know I thought I needed, but I didn't. There was a lot of time and money went into that. Some of the people I see, their business takes off and it just runs quick. I mean, I believe just some of those folks have a good knowledge of just quitting other firms. They understand a lot. So I was just going into something I had no clue about the industry as much, and also as running a business itself. So just knowing that you need the LLC, you need the emails, you need the license, you need an accountant. So there's a lot of little details that went into the process that
Right.
I didn't know about, that I just had to figure out. So, but
Right.
I also see a lot of courses on that now. Some folks offer. So, I mean, if you're starting out, it's worth to take the course,
Right.
and you would save a lot of money and time.
Yep. Bridge that gap, get there faster.
Absolutely. Yep.
100%. What do you think, like, when you kind of come into this industry, you've been in it for a couple, years now. I mean, what kind of problems are you trying to solve, so to speak? Like, what are you trying to do to make an impact and change the industry from where you sit?
As far as the industry, or problems with for clients?
More just kind of the industry. Like, what are you trying to do differently than the rest of recruiters out there? You mentioned that you kind of saw it working in-house, and that's what kind of inspired you to think that you could do something a little bit better. I mean, what are you thinking specifically that, could be improved?
Great question. Being as a candidate, I've worked with a number of recruiters that I was placed by, and then I have a lot of friends and colleagues that were working with other headhunters. One is giving feedback no matter what to the candidate. That
Right.
is crucial. I mean, I know sometimes candidates get kind of fired up. They start asking all these questions. Why? Start beating their chest saying, I was a good candidate. Just look past that. Simply tell them, give them some feedback and say, you didn't work out. They're looking at somebody else. There's a better candidate. Find out, come up with some kind of a reasoning and give them some feedback. I would say one. Two is that, don't work on positions you cannot fill. I mean, there's some positions that you just won't be able to fill, and we have to be upfront with the clients. I mean, when we accept a new customer now, we actually do the research on the industry, the position, the pay, the area, the company, to really understand the position. That's one of our non-negotiables, is that we will not work on positions we cannot understand.
Right.
So I would say that's another one. And then really, I'm not saying you have to be in working like we did in manufacturing supply chain to be successful. I mean, there's a lot of people are really successful if they didn't have the background of the companies they're working with, but that helps just because you can really get at their level and understand them. So
Right. Right. Now, going kind of the next question is, like, what are you trying to solve specifically? You guys are focused on manufacturing supply chain, correct?
correct.
What types of problems are you trying to solve for them specifically?
Well, I would say one of the number one is turnover.
Right.
I mean, you have to find the right candidates for the fit. I mean, a lot of times, especially when you're in in a desperate mode to make a placement. And people know what I'm talking about when they're starting out. You just want to make that placement because you have to get that revenue going, because you got a chance of running out of business. So really looking and making sure that that candidate is for the company, and not force it. Do not
Right.
force it. Really be the guide between the candidate and the client. And if there's red flags, it's better to walk away, because it will hurt in the long term. Because
Right.
turnover is one of the things that are one of the costs. Other than the materials, labor is one of the most costly things for the companies, and turnover is a big part of that.
100%. Yeah. 100%. What are you seeing right now, like with your market, just out of curiosity? I know, speaking with a lot of people, things have really picked up. Are you kind of seeing the same thing with the market you're targeting right now?
Want to see us picking up, or?
Yeah. It's starting to get really busy and lots of open positions. And
Yep. We definitely see that going on right now I would say at the mid-level leadership positions. Of course, the executive positions have been put on hold last year. We haven't seen those come back yet, but there's a lot of engineering positions for the actual engineers in engineering and leadership. We see, of course, the frontline supervision. Those are always reoccurring.
right.
And we see a lot of analysts right now, and we started asking questions. It's like you see one client, second client,
Right.
third client, they're all looking for analysts. You start asking questions. Why? Well, they're part of these Zoom meetings that they get on, like with some of the groups they're in. They're saying that, they want the analysts to have the analytics and predict what's going to happen, because with this whole pandemic thing that, there's a lot of people got caught not being ready.
Right.
So there's analysts, they've been hired. So, and we see those jobs posted as well by other companies. So.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. So they're basically trying to get ahead of the next storm, so to speak. Yep. I wonder if there's any numbers that are going to predict the next pandemic out there.
I'll tell you this, for the past 50 years, we've had a recession, depression, we had something. So
Yep.
you look at the trend, it's about every decade. So
Yep.
Give or take.
There's always going to be something. There's going to be something. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's always funny because every time it comes up, you're always feeling like it's an interesting time of life, and it's just a part of life, right? There's always.
Yeah, it is. It
Yep.
is.
Yep. Very cool. So, what were some of the, outside of, we talked about a little bit of the mindset work, what were some of the challenges that you were facing, from client development and things like that as you were going out and trying to grow this business?
Well, I did a lot of cold calls. That's what you look to do. That's what
Right.
we were taught for the past, couple of decades is, if not more, you cold call, you reach out and you try to get the business. So I've done that for years. And especially now, I think cold call it's really hard to do. I'm not saying you always had to get on the phone to close a deal. That's just,
Right.
although I had some that would close by email, I never even spoke to the person. It just depends on the client.
Right.
And we've made those kind of placements. So it's pretty crazy. It's crazy as that sounds. But cold calling was one that was really ineffective for us. We also did an email reach out as well. It was better because with an email, this goes into inbox that they can respond to, mark on red, they go as reply. Cold call requires more calories to return your call. I still call them that, right? The less calories the client has to burn to get back to you or to close a deal, the better. That's kind of how it works, what I've learned.
Got it.
I know speaking of calories, right, it's totally different, but that's just how it works.
I love the analogy. I think it's great. Never heard of it explained that way, but I think it makes a lot of sense, how did we get connected? Like, I think it was Jessica Shuttleworth, but like, was there something else that kind of attracted you towards, me before even knowing really what I did?
Well, I'm really careful who I work with, and I do a lot of research. And you reached out to me. I've kind of put it on the back burner. I believe you reached out to me by LinkedIn, and then we connected. And then I was kind of watching your content and seeing what you post. I've seen a couple of success stories. So one of them was Jessica. So I reached out to Jess. I said, "Hey, Jess, what do you think about this guy? Is he worth working with?" She's like, "Yeah, it really worked for us. It's something different that he does from the marketing standpoint that we haven't seen before. We haven't done. It's actually working for us." So I've done a little bit of more research, did a little bit of digging, and I was like, you reached out again and again. I was like, there's got to be a reason for that. So that's kind of how we connected, is that referral, and I saw your content that you posted really shift my mind towards working with you.
Got it. That's awesome to hear. That's awesome to hear. I mean, what about our work together do you feel like, has impacted your business the most?
Absolutely. I mean, just the way you show us the marketing. I mean, we did actually when we were for the past 3 years, we've done very little marketing.
Right.
Most of what we did was trying to do sales, right? But marketing is really important because that's what brings in the leads into sales and turns them into sales.
Hmm.
So, I mean, you really showed us how to understand your client as one, understanding their pains, like what are their pains, what do they need actually from you. I mean, you're not going to work with all the clients. I mean, there's
Right.
some that they're just. And one thing about recruiting that I've learned is that if they need you, it's not hard to close that deal. And when they need you, when they don't need you, no matter what you do, no matter what strategy you use, you're just wasting your time.
Right.
So that was a big factor that we learned from the program is that understanding what your client needs, understand their pain points, what are they looking for, where they at, so you can reach out to them, what social media platform they're on, and to kind of really understand your business and what kind of value you can bring. What is your message? What do you stand for? And be really specific about the kind of niche that you're going after. And you have to be able to speak to your audience, to your content as well. And content is another one. I don't like making videos. I don't. I really don't. I don't like create content. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's going to be a time when I'm going to delegate it to somebody else. But you have to do it. Right now,
Yep.
you're wearing multiple hats. And what I've learned is that making content kind of takes you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
You speak a little bit different. You become more confident. You have different kind of hand movement now. So, and you need that as a business person. I believe you need to be able to engage, and because this is what it's trending. That's what's going
Right.
on right now, and it's going to be going forward. I mean, it's the video making. Folks want to watch videos instead of reading some of the content.
Right.
So, but yeah, that's kind of it was a really good guide to understand where we're at, where we need to go, and understand our clients and pick our niche.
Right. I think you bring up something interesting that I think it really is where a lot of people feel is this the whole content, right? Like, and really not loving the content, but also kind of knowing that it's a necessary evil. Like, how did the program help you work through that to like go, okay, I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. And, how did we make it kind of easier and pointed to, get you clarity on what you should be creating?
Well, you're really good at holding people accountable. That's one. That was really good.
Good.
I mean, when you're in the program, you actually stick with us and making sure that you got to do the work. I mean, it
Right.
doesn't matter no matter what, right? You can pay thousands of dollars for a program, but if you don't do the work, it's irrelevant.
Yep.
So you have to do the work. But you really guided us through, and if there was any kind of hesitance from us, you always pointed us in the right direction. It's like, well, just start making a video. Just make one video, right? Then practice making a video. Then just keep going. You have to start. You can't take step 5 without taking the step 1. So
Right.
it's kind of in steps, incremental changes that you will notice going through the program. That I honestly look at my videos now from last year, and I scratch my head. I'm like, wow, it's a big change. It
Yeah.
is a big change. So yeah, it was a really good guide guiding us through the content and also what kind of content to create. I mean, you really laid out the steps what we need to follow, because it's good to create content, but the content needs to be value add. I
Right.
mean, there's a lot of content out there with cats and dogs. I mean, you just watch stuff that you be entertained. That's not what we're here for.
Right.
We're here to understand and to get more clients and have more business. That's what we're here for. So content, the first couple of videos, probably until you get to stage when you're comfortable, you might make a few videos that where you're just talking, but you have to switch and make sure the content is value add to the clients. That's the main thing, because you'd be just wasting your time.
Yep. Yep. No, that's great feedback. And I know you've been on that journey. I know you embrace the content, fully. And I remember we talked early on about your dislike for the videos, and I applaud you for sticking with it and getting better at it, and, making it, help make an impact on your business, and the consistency, I'm sure, is starting to pay off for you, with people seeing your brand and seeing your message, and probably reaching out to you, about business, just as a direct result of your content. But yeah, I think content's a challenge, right? And it's certainly a grind, and, kudos to you for sticking with it and making it work for you. what do you think, like, what are some of the results that you've had just, from as a result of going through the program?
Well, we went through the program successfully. We completed it on time. I would stick around just a little bit longer, just to, I mean, I love the group interactions because you just learn
Yeah.
so much from different people. We're all there for the same purpose, but we have our different point of views, different ways of understanding things. It's a lot of support in a group too. I
Yeah.
know eventually I had to get out of the group because I've completed a course, but I miss it. It was a really good collaboration with the folks. I mean, I had a great group of people. But it's I mean, it's going through there just to understand of what was needed from us. So we've actually gained about 4 clients since working with you. Now it would have been a lot more, but you're not going to work with everybody. I mean,
Right.
there's I would say we at least have a conversation a couple times a week right now. And if we have 3 non-negotiables that some clients don't meet,
Mhm.
it could have been 15 clients, but we have to stick with our non-negotiables because you're just not going to work with everybody.
Yep. Yep. That's awesome. So 4 new clients, plus you're getting several calls a week.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Now, I know that you've got a team underneath you, working right now. Has that allowed you, to expand the efforts?
Absolutely. I mean, going through the program, the tools you provided, it free up at least 50% of my time during the day. I mean, honestly,
That's
it
huge.
was great.
That is huge.
Yep. Yep. And we use those tools to for the business development, for marketing, and also working with recruiters as well.
Yep.
Yep. It freed up a lot of my time. I mean, it's like a big change, huge.
Right. Right. That's awesome to hear, man. I love doing these interviews and hearing the success. And, I mean, like you said, you have to put in the work. Signing up for the program doesn't do anything unless you're willing to roll up your sleeves
Yep.
and do it. So,
Yep.
Yep.
And not only we got those 4 clients, Donnie, we also made placements with those clients as well. I mean, I
Right.
don't want to say we got clients. We actually brought in revenue.
Right.
I mean, would I have had those clients if we went through your course? I don't know.
Right.
But I know
Right.
that I did, and we do see a huge impact, and we have more job orders with those clients.
Right.
It was a big change.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. What do you think, when you're looking at, I mean, you mentioned earlier that you're kind of very picky about the people you work with. I'm sure you did other, research. I mean, what do you think makes me different than what else you've kind of seen in the marketplace or even experienced?
Well, how do I say this? I can't. I've been declining a lot of folks to work with. For some reason, I've accepted to work with you. So I can't really say what kind of material they provide or what services they provide if they work or don't work. But I
Right.
will tell you one thing: you have to like somebody to trust somebody. Okay, I would start there because
Right.
if you don't like somebody, there's no trust.
Right.
It's just like a date, right? When you go out, we all, when you ask how your girlfriend, your wife, she has to like you, or a man, he has to like you.
Right.
Before she gets in your car, there's some kind of a connection or like, right?
Yep.
Before she has the trust, say, okay, we're going on a date, right?
Right.
So that like has to come. There's something about what you've done, through your content, through just some of the other testimonials that we just liked you, and we say, okay, let's trust him. Let's work with him and see what happens.
Got it. Any surprises as you went through the program that kind of came up? Anything that kind of caught you off guard, or anything's positively surprising? Or
Good question. Good question. Surprised that some of the folks still stayed in the program that longer than the program was actually allowed. That was surprising because it's
got it.
fairly easy program.
Right.
But it was a surprise, but it wasn't like, wow, why? I understand some people it takes longer.
Right.
That was one of the things that was kind of, it was like, oh, because I always it was a certain date that we had to get down by, so we busted our butt working extra.
Right.
But it's good to know that something you can go over or not, but it's good to stay within the guidelines, because then you can faster implement those
Yeah.
tools and take them to the market.
Yep.
But it's one of those things. But we completed it on time, a little bit earlier, and we're able to stick around a little bit and work with other folks. It was great.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
So I'm
And
glad you give that opportunity and that flexibility. So, and another one, it's a big one that was really surprising. And I can say this one, that not everybody offers that. You release an updated course because stuff updates, right?
right.
There's stuff changes. There's things that happen in the background, right? So you released an updated course and you gave access to everybody that went to the course. That was
Yep.
huge. That was huge.
Awesome. I love that
It's
feedback.
almost like you're out there to add value to us versus just going after the revenue, right? And that
100%.
means a lot. And that's how you build trust. And that's how people come back. Is that, and because my wife and I went through your course a number of times. We
Right.
look at the first one, look at the second one, you compare, because you go through the course, but you want to go back and kind of review a couple of things because
Right.
your messaging changes. A lot of things change. So
Yep.
we're able to go back and say, oh, we need to make an adjustment here. Oh, Donnie's got the new course out. Let's see what's different. Oh
Right.
man, this is a new tool that we didn't know about. That was huge. That was huge for us.
That's good. I appreciate that feedback. It's definitely certainly what I was trying to do. And it's something I really drive home with, people that are considering the program, is that you're always going to get updated content. The market's always shifting. There's always changes. LinkedIn's always making changes. Email's always making changes. So I'm glad that's been helpful for you. I mean, if somebody was considering working with me, what would you say, Alex?
I would say go for it. I mean, it's honestly, it's not one of these where we've experienced it. And like I said, we didn't just get 4 clients.
Right.
We actually, there was a revenue brought in from these 4 clients.
Right.
Not all 4 at once, but there were some that we actually made placements. Some we're still working with right now that candidates are going through the interview process. And if you're like, for example, one of our non-negotiables, and I'll say one of them, I can say all 3, it doesn't matter, but we don't work below 20%. So if you're out there working below 20%, there's a lot of candidates. I mean, there's a lot of clients out there that will work with you. If you're starting out, you're like, okay, I work for 17, 15%. I'm just trying to get up, I make some placements, get some clientele going until I can build myself. There's a lot of clients out there that will work 15% and below. It kind of depends, but one of our non-negotiables is nothing below 20%.
Right.
So,
Right. Love it. Love it. What are you most excited about next? I mean, you've got your business is thriving. You guys have added on some new people. I mean, what's next for you and the team?
growth. I mean, it's growth. We're really looking forward to it. We've went up in revenue every year since we've started. Well, the first 2 were kind of slow, but we still made placements. But it's all about growth and actually creating a star team. We want to create a star team. I mean, it depends. There's a lot of the recruiting is one of the best businesses to be in, honestly, because one,
Yep.
you could work from anywhere. You could be somewhere in out of state or even other country and able to work. 2 is that you have the flexibility, right? Do I want to be like a solopreneur? Don't want to run this with just my wife and I. Don't want to have just a group of people.
Right.
What are you looking to do a year, right? It all depends. I make what I make. I could travel the world. I don't want the stress. I don't want to have the problems. I have enough. And here's what I got. We're looking to build a star team and grow this thing into enterprise. That's what we're looking to do. Then we're excited about that.
That's awesome. That's a fun little vision to have right there. And I think you brought it up before is, right now you got that high paying job and now you're transitioning into making it a profitable business. So I think that's what everybody's after.
Correct. And there's nothing wrong with having a high paying job, right? I
Right.
mean, when I look at the business, a business is where you build it up, you have your team, and you don't have to be in a day-to-day operations, right? You're not then doing the sales calls. You're not creating
Yeah.
content. You have a team of people doing that. You still always see it, but you're not in the day-to-day operations, right? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I have a friend that owns a multi-million dollar trucking company. He still drives a truck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he does just how he likes. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just what we want to do in our organization.
Right. Right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you for hanging with me today, Alex, and sharing, your journey, sharing your experience, with our work together. For those that are listening, I mean, where can they connect with you at?
They can find me on LinkedIn. I'm really active on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm not much on Twitter. Not much on, I say probably LinkedIn and Facebook would be the top ones.
All right, cool. Go check Alex out on LinkedIn. And I know he's got a good presence there and creating some good content that you can check out. Alex, a lot of people are looking to, have the same success you're having. I mean, what is one piece of advice you can leave with the listeners today?
Oh, great question. Great question. I would say focus. I would say is number 1. You have to stay focused.
Love it. Love it.
That was the best advice I can. I've seen a lot of folks, even some I know really close. They're trying to do different things. They're trying to, different industry, different kind of businesses, this work, stocks, everything. Just pick one thing and focus on it. If it doesn't work, get rid of it. But you have to be, like we spoke about before the meeting. I mean, you always have to be thinking about doing things different ways. You're in the shower, you're thinking about, the market, the sales, what are different strategies? You study the market, you study the trends, but you have to stay focused. That's one of the most important things.
Yep.
Because you have to understand that your energy flows where your attention goes. So where's your focus?
Yep. Love it, man. Love that last piece of advice. Thank you again for coming and hanging out with me today on the Relevant Recruiter Show. Relevant Recruiter audience, listeners, we will be back here soon with another live episode. You can catch all of the, what are they called, recorded episodes on the podcast on all major channels, including Apple, Spotify. You can go to donniegupton.com/podcast and see and listen to all episodes. Alex, again, thank you again for hanging with me.
Pleasure.
And we will see you all really, really soon.